video is talking about participial adjectives. And I'm going to be talking about verbs of change, which is what I'm calling type 2. I also have a video on type 1, which is verbs of emotion or feeling, interesting, interested, frustrating, frustrated. So if you're looking for that, you can find my video on type 1, participial adjectives. But this is type 2, which is verbs of change. So if you know anything about verbs in English, you know that they have different forms. In fact, they have 5 different forms. We are going to be looking at 2 of those forms, the present participle and the past participle. Why are we looking at these 2 forms? That's a great question, because these 2 forms of a verb can be used as adjectives. Now, adjectives are words that describe a noun. They give information about a noun. So, boiling water or boiled water. Water is the noun, and boiling or boiled is describing the water. They are adjectives, and they are participial adjectives. They come from these 2 forms of the verb. The present participle is the verb with ing, boiling. And the idea of this is ongoing, continuing, present time. The other participle is the past participle. And this is the verb with the ed or sometimes an en or a t. This is for some people called the 3rd form. Some people call it the 4th form of the verb. So with a verb like go, go, went, gone. Gone is the past participle. So we have past participles that have irregular endings, but most verbs have an ed ending. The idea of the past participle adjective is completed, finished, in the past. So this is a difference here that is an important difference, because if I ask you which one is safe for you to drink, boiling water or boiled water, I hope you answered boiled water. Boiled water is finished boiling and it is now safe to drink. Boiling water is very dangerous. If you drink it, you will have terrible burns in your mouth and throat. So this is the idea of right now, ongoing. This is the idea of finished, in the past, boiled. All right. There are basically 2 structures that are common for using adjectives. The first is before the noun. So we take these present participle burning and past participle burnt to describe wood. Burning wood is right now in the fire, burning wood. Burnt wood is finished burning, it is black. You can pick it up with no problem. Then you can have adjectives after the noun, but you need to have a linking verb. What is a linking verb? The most common linking verb in English is be, am, are, is, was, were. But we have others like seem, appear, look, like you look beautiful, act, feel, sound, that sounds great. If you have a linking verb, then you can put the adjective after the linking verb and it will describe the noun. The wood is burning. The wood is burnt. All right, let's look at a few things that you may want to keep in mind. First, as I mentioned, these are type 2 verbs of change, not verbs of emotion. When you're talking about verbs of emotion, for example, interesting, interested, then you're talking about the source of that feeling and the receiver or the person who is feeling it. But these are verbs of change, and so we're not talking about source and receiver. We're talking about ongoing present or completed past. So different types of verbs, different idea of the present and past participle adjectives, okay? You will notice most of these examples that I'm giving show a natural state of something that is going through a change. Boil, fry, cook, melt, freeze. All of these could be used for drinks or food, and it's a natural chemical change. Ripen and rot for fruits and vegetables, it's a change. Break or grow. So these are things that can be continuing or finished. Change state. Rotting fruit, it's started to rot, but it's not completely rotten. Rotten fruit is completely bad, throw it away. Freezing water is still water, but it is very, very cold. Frozen water is ice. So you see this difference. A growing boy versus a grown man. Now, in English, when we talk about the verb grow for people, we're talking about from a baby until about 21 years old. So, a growing boy is a young boy or a teenager. A grown man is 20, 21 or older. Okay? Let's look at a verb that I don't have up here, but it's another example. To arrive is something that can be in process or finished. So it is also possible for this. Arriving passengers are coming off of the plane right now. Newly arrived refugees means they arrived in the past a short time ago for newly, but they are here now, okay? One question that I often get from students is asking me whether this participle is an adjective or a verb in certain sentences. Now, let me say, for most people, it really doesn't matter to be able to say if it's an adjective or a verb as long as you're using it correctly. But if you are in a grammar class and your teacher wants you to identify all the different words, there's a couple things that can help you to identify if it's an adjective or a verb. So the progressive form, the present participle, the be verb plus ing is a progressive verb in English. So it might be the progressive verb or it might be the linking verb plus the adjective. And this is where we have confusion. The chicken is cooking. Is this an adjective describing chicken or is this a verb talking about ongoing? Actually, there's really no difference in the meaning, but let's just take a look. A progressive verb can usually change to simple past. Verb tenses, you can usually change them, right? So, the chicken is cooking. The chicken cooked. Sure, no problem. So is this a verb? I'm going to say yes. The emoji is smiling. This is an emoji, yeah? Is smiling. The emoji smiled? That doesn't make any sense because this is not actually doing it. We're just describing the emoji. So this is really a true adjective, participial adjective. It's not a present progressive verb. It's not doing this action. You can't change it to be in the past. past. Okay? What about the passive form? This is the past participle. When you have the be verb plus a past participle in English, that can be a passive verb, receiving verb. So this is where we might have some confusion. But a passive verb can usually add the agent, the person who does the action, with by. So the chicken is cooked. Is this an adjective or is it a passive verb? Can I add by my mother? The chicken is cooked by my mother. That actually does not make sense in English, because if this is simple present, you're talking about a chicken that is regularly cooked, a same chicken that is regularly cooked by my mother. Why would my mother regularly cook the same chicken? It doesn't make sense. So here I can understand this is not a simple present passive verb. This is an adjective describing the chicken. I hope that makes sense. Let's look at another one. The fruit is grown locally. Can I add an agent? The fruit is grown locally by my mother. Yeah, sure, that works. That means that this is a regular action. My mother regularly grows fruit. And in fact, you can see this is not an adjective describing fruit. You can't say the grown fruit. Grown is only used for people. All right, so hopefully that helps you if you're trying to decide if something's an adjective or a verb. But most important thing, remember to use the ing form as an adjective for ongoing states and the past participle for completed states. Have fun.